Hey everybody, Word Vomit here, new podcast where we talk about video games, comics, television. You know what? We're just shooting on the fly. To my supposed left is Mr. Red Kings.
Hey, I'm pointing. Wait, at you.
I'm
high five.
right.
Hey, high five. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. Wait.
Pac-Man style. Pac-Man style.
Wait, we're doing. Okay, well, my scene is different. But, hey.
And then right in the middle, at least for me, anyways, is one Sean Pender.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Oh boy.
And we are recording from our respective quarantined areas. So Garage Studios, unfortunately, is only being residented to one person.
Yeah.
Which is Mr.
That's
Kings.
Randy's background, yeah.
Yes. Hey, you know what? If you guys are watching this, make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing for YouTube, make sure you're hitting that bell for the notifications.
Ding.
Guys,
Ding.
what is up?
Crazy stuff, man. Crazy
yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say crazy. It's Final Fantasy VII Remake weekend.
Yep. Final Fantasy Friday happened just recently.
I know.
The thing is, I only just played it once, which is, We'll get into do we want to get into like our weeks or no?
We can
a little bit. We can
like right now or
no, we're gonna do it tomorrow. Yeah. Sean.
Or like later after topics or something, man. I don't know.
No, yeah, let's get that out of the way now. But before that, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, for episode 189.
Yeah.
Much appreciated on that one. Damn, we're getting so close to 200 now. Holy crap.
If we're going to do our 200 episode in fucking quarantine, I'm going to be upset.
Well,
I mean, we can't do anything about that.
I think we've talked about it on the last one. Our quarantine is going on until May 3rd. So that's 1, 2, 3, about like a little bit over 3 weeks. So, I mean, that can change unless something happens. Unfortunately, something can actually happen. So,
yeah, I was doing some math the other day. It was like, all right, by my calculations, we should hit our 200th episode sometime like in the middle of summer. And
summertime and the living's easy.
This better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not trying to be a downer, but the mayor of Los Angeles had pointed out that they're extending theirs to, I think, May 15th.
So like 2 weeks more. Okay.
Yeah. So there is a chance, there's a possibility that this can go longer. We just gotta, we gotta do what we gotta do.
But you know what? I wouldn't actually mind doing it via Zoom because I'm gonna have like some of our past guests jump in as well.
That'd be easier.
It'd be a lot easier for people. So that would be a lot of fun.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
So as we mentioned before, Final Fantasy just came out for the remake.
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple of hiccups, I spent the entire day yesterday just playing that.
Okay.
And I gotta say,
I streamed mine.
I damn near cried in the beginning again. Like I said this when I played the demo, when like the music and being able to look at all of Midgar, like I almost cried then, and I almost cried when I booted the game up because just the feels, man. The feels came in and just whoosh. Like, oh god, that was awesome.
My body is ready.
Let's do this. Come on, Mako Reactor. See what you got.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Your body is ready. Oh, Reggie Fils-Aimé. He coined that phrase. All right. Cool. Never mind.
You know what? What it was actually because I didn't hear it for some reason. Like the audio cut out. So I was like, huh, what?
All right.
But yeah, Final Fantasy came out. So that was like anything that happened prior to that. Just does not register anymore. If it was a bad week, didn't matter because I was right there playing Final Fantasy. That's just how awesome it was.
Cool, man.
What about you guys?
You, Randy, or me?
I mean, I was already doing it, so
go fight. Shang.
Okay, well, so I streamed mine, and we kind of I opened the Discord to some friends, and we kind of riff tracked it a little bit, but yeah, we were talking over some of the stuff and whatnot and playing it. And then out of nowhere, like everyone stopped talking, but was just watching me play it and was like, yo, Sean, you want to go into punish mode with that? Oh, you staggered him. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Do punishment mode. I love that move.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's do this. All right, and I stopped right when I'm fighting off the little inky dink monsters in Sector 7 slums. And I'm like, all right, cool.
The little were rats.
Yeah, little were rats or whatever the hell they are.
Yeah,
and that's where I stopped and saved. And yeah, there's that. I've been working like a slave, like normal weeks and whatnot. It's actually gotten busier. And I'm like, man,
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I feel kind of guilty. They were like, hey, Sean, you want to come in Friday? And I had some things going on around the house, and I couldn't do it. And when I was all done with that, I edited videos for the channel. So there's going to be some content coming up for that.
Yes. Thank you for that, sir.
And yeah, maybe, just maybe, I could try and weasel on the last little bit of credits or something for the video that I worked on till 2 a.m. last night, so I can get it all done. And
make sure that you emphasize that you're up until 2 a.m.
Yeah. Also, the idea, Sean, that remember, Word Volunteers, we actually did not put this schedule on him. So this is all self-inflicted.
Yes.
So if you don't hear any sympathy from Emmanuel or I, it's because we did not tell him to do this.
Yeah. Sean's a masochist.
I worked on it, and then I accidentally deleted it and felt really bad and stupid. And
now you know how I felt. Again. Now you know how I felt.
Yeah. But I was in the luxury to redo it all over again. And it's not like I lost the source footage. You lost the source footage.
Yeah, and we got a cool ender out of it because of that.
Yeah, we did, which was good. All right, so
Mr. Kings, how's your week?
I mean, I work from home, and I feel very fortunate to be employed and being able to work. And
really quick shout out to everybody who's not working right now. You know, our thoughts and prayers and good vibes to you.
Yeah. Get on that EDD website and see if you qualify for any of that unemployment. I know that's like an all-time high for good reason.
Yeah.
But you know, we gotta do what you can. But yeah, I worked. I did not get Final Fantasy VII. I thought about it. I actually just checked to see, because I was like, okay, if I'm gonna get it, I want to get the deluxe edition with all the extra bells and whistles. I had it where I could get it, and then I was like, I'm gonna pass now because there's a lot of other games I have that I want to play. That I also games that are coming up that I'd rather get.
Right.
Like the we talked about this before before we start recording, which was like the Panzer Dragoon. Their HD remix they did, and get the physical copy from Limited Run Games. Also the Streets of Rage special edition, which I'm probably gonna get that. It's like it's not like they're gonna stop making Final Fantasy.
That's true.
It's not like I'm not gonna get it. It's just not right now.
I pre-ordered mine on GameStop. Do I have that copy? No. Did I just spend $60 more on the downloaded version of Final Fantasy VII to play it? Yes.
Oh. I mean, I feel bad because I hear me telling you, and I'm like, it was up until yesterday. I'm like, oh, I can get it. I can pick it up from the store to yesterday. Tempted. No, I'm gonna pass. Okay.
No, I'll wait until I get the physical copy through GameStop whenever it opens up. But yeah,
there is a part of me that wants to, even though I bought it digitally, I am gonna also pick up a physical copy. But I am gonna wait until like the price drops a little bit because I don't want to buy the game 2 times over. You know, maybe if it goes down.
Shame on you.
Shame
on you for not spending $120 on the same game.
How dare I, right?
For that game, I would. For that game, I would. Oh, to add more to my week, I am an exclusive member of a video movie site. And it's very exclusive, very, very exclusive member. And I finally saw Birds of Prey and Sonic. That was
Are you talking about Voodoo? Are you talking about Voodoo? Exclusive member?
No, I'm not.
All right, well, let's just leave it at that. Otherwise,
now I want to know because Sean's like bragging about it.
No, that's exactly what he wants you to do. That's why we're just going to go ahead and move on. Because otherwise, you're just going to be feeding into Sean's ego.
Yeah, I guess I already watched both movies, so I don't care.
Look at the smile on that guy's face. He's happy about it.
I actually supported Sonic when it came out.
Yeah.
Especially from a guy who said, I don't want to watch this movie. Even though it's the most successful video game movie of all time now.
I did watch it for free, and I'm like, hey, that was actually very good.
So,
You're an asshole.
Exclusive site. You mean Reddit? Because I mean, I got that too. Like
Reddit.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into some
You
of the
could watch
topics that we
movies
got
off of
going on.
Reddit.
you can get movies from Reddit. Sean, are you kidding me?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay,
No.
so let's move on to the topics, guys, because we got a lot to talk about.
Okay.
First off, we're gonna go ahead and start off with apparently Dana White creating his own version of Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
That's so weird. I can't. I just can't with that. That's so weird to me.
Okay, so a little bit of a backstory. Because of everything that's going on, and people by now, you know what? I realized that a lot of YouTube videos got demonetized whenever they would actually mention the name of whatever's going on. So I'm gonna try my best not to. Everybody already knows what's going on, so we'll just go with what's going on moving forward. That's what we'll call it. What's going on? A lot of events, concerts have been postponed or outright canceled, and this is actually happening with Asia's biggest mixed martial arts company, One Championship. They're also going through the same struggles. They tried to do closed pay-per-view events, so where it's just the fighters and the referee, but even then they were just like, yeah, we can't even do that. So unfortunately, they had to cancel events, and everybody's just waiting. Well, Dana White, president of the UFC, is not happy with this, and he still wants to continue to put on events. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the places that they usually do the events at were basically saying, no, we can't do it. No, we can't do it, for good reason. They're not trying to be jerks about it. They're just trying to stop everything from spreading, bring it from up to down, whatever's, when everybody knows what's going on. Well, not taking into that, Mr. White decided to try to find alternatives. And one of the alternatives was to actually try to find a private island where they would be able to record the fighting events. I'm trying to see what UFC it was for particularly. I know that currently they're at the 240 mark for all the fights that are going on right now. According to Kotaku, UFC boss Dana White has secured the use of a private island where he's hoping all international fighters legally able to be transported there can arrive later this month and get fighting.
It's UFC 249.
249. Oh, man. Yeah. I was cutting it really closely, wasn't I? White has the island, whose location is still unknown, for 2 months, and plans to be
put the screen share for
fights.
the Kotaku article.
Yeah, I'll look it up right now. To staging fights there on a weekly basis. In terms of how safe or legal this is, the UFC says every person involved will be screened before being allowed into the facilities, where they'll presumably be living for the duration of whatever you want to call this.
I mean,
so he is literally Zach from Dead or Alive.
Damn that. How okay. No. I know I've seen movies that start like this, which is great.
Yeah.
Enter the Dragon started like this. Right? Am I wrong, Randy? Bruce Lee did not get invited to a private island where he was going to fight motherfuckers. Yeah.
Well, it's also the idea that I'm also going to say that it's also a lot of just villains start this way.
Yes.
Like what's his name? Like what's it called? The man with the golden gun? Private island. He has a private island where he has a gun that harnesses the power of the sun to destroy things. It's private islands. Bad ideas.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like this Enter the Dragon trailer right there.
There it is.
Yeah. But also bad guys. All bad. No one good does these things. I'm gonna point that out. In movies, it's no one good.
What is Dana White doing in the background? What super villainy is he up to?
That's a good question.
Is it guns? Is it drugs?
No, it's not gonna be that, because then you need people to be able to do
nukes. It's nukes.
No.
Holy shit.
Maybe he's taking the fighting capability and the DNA of all the combaters, and he's gonna put them into himself, and then now he becomes Shao Kahn. Now there you go.
Dude, I'll say Shang Tsung first. Tsung first. So let me go ahead and continue with the article, which you can follow along with this. For anybody who's watching this, by the way, check out our YouTube channel, because the video of this is there if you're listening to this audio-wise.
Oh, yeah.
It says, before you label White as some kind of madman, know that at least one other major sports league, Australia's entire National Rugby League competition, has been publicly talking about a similar idea for a while now. This is kind of dumb and reckless and may violate all kinds of law countries have imposed regarding international travel during this pandemic. It would also constitute genuine international sport, something millions of people are crying out for at the moment, and is the closest we may ever get to seeing a 90s fighting game storyline come to life, or Enter the Dragon, or the Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dead or Alive, actually. Dead or Alive, the movie's like this too.
Private
Exactly
Island?
like this.
Yeah, and look, I feel like they took this image from the Dead or Alive.
That image
games.
is from Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I
That is
can't.
exactly where that's from.
I can't. I just can't. I'm concerned because
You pan left and Tita's taking a shower on the beach. I am down.
No, dude. Realistically, though, this is very reckless. Like,
Oh no,
real
you're
reckless.
right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So Dana White's a video game villain now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
At this point, I get it because he needs money, and I get that he needs these fighters. At the same time, guys,
Yeah.
no, it's
Yeah.
bad ideas. Bad.
Yeah, no.
It's,
all right.
This is hilariously stupid, is what this is.
Oh my god, this is great.
I like that he said, "Why is secured in air quotes? What does that mean?" Because because I read another article that said that they're building this island. I'm like, that also makes me worried because that means
because he has a private security force, Randy.
No.
I don't Doombox.
You know,
Great.
when I see that, I think of like Dr. Evil, like when he uses the air quotes.
Yes.
So
this is great.
So it's just more into the villainy that is Dana White. And he's already bald. All we got to do is get him that fake scar over his eye, and he's Dr. Evil.
Randy, if he is taking the genetic structure of all of his fighters to put it all into one fighter, what fighter is going to not is like, I'm not standing for this, and he just goes crazy on all.
He created a monster.
Oh no! He has to fight the monster at the end. Oh, this dude. Let's explore this idea.
This is Hollywood gold right here.
What fighter is going to stand up in the UFC to be like, I can't stand for this shit? And then he's just
Khabib, the UFC light heavyweight champion.
Yo, that's yes. Khabib, the champion.
No. You know what?
Yeah.
This is when.
Or is he the monster, the villain?
This is when Mighty Mouse makes his triumphant return.
Mighty Mouse, no.
Demetrius Johnson comes in and just wrecks shop. That's what happens.
No.
That's what happens.
I imagine Khabib's not the kind of person who would care what another person wants. Khabib be like, okay, I wrestled bears. I don't give a fuck.
And then Mighty Mouse, after he wins, he plugs his Twitch channel.
He plugged his Twitch channel. Hey guys, catch me on Twitch. Catch me on Twitch.
Done.
It's all good. No,
fucking done.
Bad. It's so bad though. I feel like we
have our B-rate Hollywood direct to DVD and streaming site movie going right now.
Itself.
We've got it all down. We've got the major points for it.
Uwe Boll makes a comeback making this movie.
Yes, he does.
The script writes itself. Oh my god.
Oh god, it's so bad.
I love this.
No, this is terrible.
The story is a gift.
Okay, so real talk. Me personally, I can't speak for everybody else, but real talk, I can't follow along with this. Again, where we all have to follow the rules and regulations that are being set for this because we are, as I mentioned before, trying to
you're a super villain.
Curb what everybody knows is going on. We need to try to get it as low as possible, and this does the exact opposite. It is actually
it does.
It's bringing people all within the same vicinity and possibly getting it. So on the real side of everything, I'm totally against it. That isn't to say I don't think this is hilarious.
It's funny, but man,
because real life is now becoming. I mean, it always has been, but real life is stranger than fiction.
Yeah. I want to hear the story, the movie. That is the obvious documentary movie of this happening, and then just shit hitting the fan,
like behind the scenes and all that, right?
Oh yeah, and there's like a few fighters like they like group up, like you know how like Bruce Lee had like
Jim Kelly.
Yeah, he had Jim Kelly, the old dude,
John Saxon,
and it was just the three of them just whipping ass.
Yeah,
I want to see this documentary, and it's a documentary. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. What I'm gonna feel bad for is that the eventuality that someone gets infected and it infects a whole bunch of people.
Oh,
and it's like, oh, you guys are so dumb, and no one watched this pay-per-view.
Oh, and by the way, and everybody has to fight with face masks on.
Oh, come the God.
That's not gonna do anything. Ugh.
No, well, it's not. Who cares? But it's like
no, but like
at
the
that
mass,
point, who? Come on.
at that point, you should have just stuck with the like New Japan format or the or WWE's format. Like, yeah, just come with costumes, guys. It's okay. You can wear it.
Yeah, whatever.
Empty arenas and whatnot.
Empty ass arena. Yeah, no, that's fine. It's been working for AEW and WWE.
Yeah.
All right, so I'd like to throw this out to all of
It's such a
our
long
listeners,
thing, though. God,
all
that's
of our viewers and our listeners. Please, let us know what you think. Tweet us, actually. Word on the pod. Let us know what you think. We'll actually read some of the tweets on the next episode. I think that'd be a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Go off.
So I don't know. I mean, like, do you think? Because that's 20. What number are they on right now? So how far along do we have to wait for this island to occur? Because there's a good chance that it may work in his favor. Because if it's far enough out, it makes it easier.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe. But it's also one of those other things. You're like, don't be dumb, dude. Also, making an island is not cheap. It's hella expensive.
Well, okay. So according to ESPN, the event has been. It was supposed to happen April 18th. Not going to happen anymore.
No.
It says, according to this, all other UFC events have been postponed indefinitely due to what we know is going on.
Yeah.
Again, trying to avoid that. And there's a quote here from Dana White when he's talking to Brett Okamoto.
And he's petting his kitty and twirling his mustache.
Yes.
No. He has hounds next to him. That's what it is.
Oh, yes. He's in his world domination chair, and there's like a gargoyle at the top.
He's got hounds flanking him.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
He's going like this.
So here's what it says.
Yeah,
this is what he said to Brett Okamoto. He said, "Today we got a call from the highest level you can go at Disney and the highest level at ESPN, and the powers that be there asked me to stand down and not do this event." So
and I told them to fuck off because I'll do what I want to do.
Part of me is like, I really hope none of you.
You know what? No, not with Disney. Not with Disney.
No, Disney. They got. He's the reason why they broadcast, or he can broadcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
so no, he's whatever. He's not gonna say that to Disney.
No, well, no, I suppose he's not.
Like there's certain people,
unless he's a real supervillain.
There's certain villains that there's certain villains that know like I can't go up against that. If you guys remember the Batman animated series when Joker supposedly inherits like $250 million,
he wasn't gonna go up against the IRS.
And he's like, I'm crazy enough to go up against Batman, but the IRS, no.
I know he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to mess around with that. Well, because they'll take all his shit. They'll be like, ours now.
They'll not like. Arkham for the criminally insane, so he can find ways to work around that. But when you go to federal prison on tax evasion, that's it.
Nope.
You ain't going nowhere.
You are fucked now.
You are locked down, baby.
I don't know. He's crazy enough. They wouldn't probably put him in federal prison.
I mean, clearly not, because he's just like, I'm not messing with them.
Well, no, he wouldn't. They wouldn't put him in federal prison because he's insane medically.
For tax evasion.
They don't care about that.
That's different. That's a completely different monster right there.
I wonder if there is a hospital they would put him in for that.
Probably not.
A federal hospital?
No, they don't care.
No.
They'll put him in. They'll put him in a. They'll put him in with Gen Pop.
Okay.
Yeah. Because again, it's taxes. You're messing with their money. It's just
that's a different thing. It's a different thing.
Oh, you've tried to blow up this building, put him inside of the insane asylum. Oh, you didn't pay your taxes?
Like, Mr. Joker, sir, you have a
Mr. Kerr.
You have
whatever.
You have a $300 million. We know we have a $300 million account. Yeah, we're gonna need to tax that, so we're gonna take 310. Here's some jail time. Thanks.
Damn. So,
prison made by Wayne Industries, because he pays his taxes. He pays taxes.
Oh boy, does he!
And he doesn't use the loopholes to get out of taxes either.
Nope.
Nah, that's all Lex Luthor.
All right, so yeah, let us know what you guys think, listeners. Tweet us, Word on It Pod, and again, we'll read some of your tweets. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Oh my God, he was actually trying to do that.
I mean, he still might. He's still. From what I can tell, he's still trying.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you can't put that resources towards something good. Like, he's gonna build an island.
Like you said, everything's been suspended indefinitely. According to the interview that he had with ESPN, Disney was just like, foot has been put down.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking of ideas, but I think the idea of a private island is just not going to happen.
That's expensive to build, and where's he gonna put it? There's all these ramifications. Like, where do you do that?
All right, sticking back to our regular topics of video game related stuff. Sean has sent us a link for the PlayStation blog showing what the new PlayStation 5 controller is going to look like.
I like it. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, okay, so we know what Sean thinks and we know what Randy King thinks. I'll save mine till after, but Sean, we'll go ahead and start with you. Why do you like the controller so much? And I'll see if I can pull up the image.
Yeah, do that, dude. It's all right. Here's the thing. So now, if I can remember, Randy, back me up here. Now, with the PS4, they showed the controller first, then the system, right? I'm almost positive that's what happened. If Randy is even listening to my words.
I'm listening to you.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't recall.
Really? Okay.
There we go.
So, yeah, this is the PlayStation 5 controller.
Right
I
here.
like it. Like, you get the blue along the sensor bar, and it, like, glows, whatnot. And white isn't the only one there that's coming out with. They got blue, red, green, and whatnot. They're going to give you all sorts of controller color options, and I think that's pretty dope.
You know, that's what I was actually thinking about when I first saw this, was the capabilities of design and decoration on these things. It looks like it can be something that can be decorated really, really well for the different colored controllers.
Yeah, and the something sensor bar. You know what? Honestly, I don't even use the big button on the front of my PS4 controller. Like, I don't use this.
I do if it's like the menu system or something, you know.
Yeah,
but like as far as like the censoring part of it, I don't. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it always is. So I'm not gonna give a shit if it's leaving there. In fact, I do kind of care it's there when I'm hitting buttons and I accidentally push it. Then I mean, especially in fighting games when I get all frantic against Emmanuel playing Sam Show, yes. And yeah, I could see the resemblance between the Xbox One controller to that controller. Yeah, I get it. Like, that sort of thing is universal with video games right now. It's only Nintendo that likes to throw you like a curveball every now and again with their crazy-ish.
Well, I mean, but the DualShock before this didn't have that. They were all they had a good body. I think they had a really good body design. Everything's okay as far as what it works. And to say that's universal, I'm like, it'll be universal when this comes out, but it'll be it's just weird because it's a departure from what it was. And to me, it also looks like that picture there. It's like, oh, guys.
All right. I get it.
That's good. But it's also one of those things where I feel like they could have fixed the D-pad. If they had a chance to redo this, they could have redone the D-pad. They could have done a bunch of different things. But yeah, all I can see is it looks like a not cool Batarang to me.
I think it's going to be fine.
I mean, I'm sure it will be, but you know, it's not like if that's what I'm not going to jump on and be like, that's the best controller ever. I'm like,
no. I mean, I've seen great controllers. I've seen shit controllers.
Who remembers the chainsaw controller for Resident Evil 4?
I still have mine for GameCube still.
Well, that was all. No, I'm thinking design. Like when you saw the N64 controller, you're like, "What the fuck is this?"
That fits for what they. It's also Nintendo. It works with what they were doing. I mean, the thing about this is, if it was a completely different format, then I'd be like, "Oh, they were trying something different." I appreciate that Sony decided to go with a different colorway instead of just black.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. But you know, as far as like some of their design choices, I'm like, they could have. They didn't. It's like they were too scared to go out of the realm of what they wanted to do, but not brave enough to be like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this." Fuck yeah, Joy-Cons, guys.
I think it's fine. Yeah. I think it's fine. And see, and all the weird virtual rumble features and shit. Like, dude, honestly, I don't care. Does the controller rumble in my hands if I hit a wall or do this and that? And like, it works regardless. I mean, like, I've never had a problem with this. And I bet I'm not going to have a problem with the PS5. I bet. Right. I bet.
I mean, I would hope no one has a problem with it as far as its functionality, Sean. It's a controller. It's supposed to do what it does. It's not
what I am wondering is, you showed me the controller before the system.
I mean, they're teasing out. I honestly don't believe they're going to be able to make it to holiday.
No,
I don't believe that.
I don't think so either.
I really don't. Or else we would already have like pre-orders happening. I feel like pre-orders should have happened by now.
Well, with everything that's going on right now, I can see why we can't. But I mean, it makes sense, and that's why I'm not going to see it why I feel that I'm not going to see it like on the holiday season.
I mean, maybe tail end.
Yeah, same with Microsoft.
No,
That's not coming out in the holiday season. You're out of your damn mind. No
I
way.
mean, I'm wondering what, and if they do, it's gonna be like, hey guys, so remember way back when we released the PS3 and everything was super awesome, and there were only like 5 available in your store? Yeah. Back to that, guys. Woohoo! You get 5.
Remember
chances.
that Penny Arcade comic that they did about that?
Yep.
No, I don't.
You look that up when you get a chance.
You can screen share that.
Yeah.
Well, you probably can't actually. Now that I think about it.
So as far as the design of this thing, I actually, as far as ergonomically, I think this is actually a pretty solid controller. I did put up that picture of the comparison of this to the Xbox One controller. And I remember when I first held an Xbox One controller that I was like, wow, this is actually surprisingly comfortable.
That's what you expect.
Honestly, when I first saw it, the thing that I saw the most was I thought of the Dreamcast controller, in which it was like bulky and it was bigger. But when you actually grabbed it, it was just like, wow, this is actually a really good grip. The button setup is set up perfectly where it needs to be as far as using your thumbs for it. Like, that was like the perfect setup for me. As wonky as it looked, comparatively speaking to other controllers at its time, it felt really solid. It felt really good. So when I saw this one and I saw the bulkier exterior of it compared to the PS4 controller, I understood where they're going with it. It's like, they want a more proper grip to it. The design aspect, like I mentioned before, is that it leaves it open to so many different designs and decorations that you can go with. The fact that you can now have 2 color palettes to it.
That's cool.
I'm looking at it like if it were a fighting game character, and like what parts of the costumes can be changed in color. It's kind of the same thing that I'm looking at with this controller right here. So I think that'll be really cool. I agree with Sean in the sense that I rarely ever use the sensor button unless it's part of the actual in-game mechanics. So for instance, in Final Fantasy, in order to take a look at the map, that's what you push.
Yeah.
Outside of that, unless the game requires you to use it, I don't think about it too much.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to what is, that's usually where at least the last from the the PS4 to now, they put that little touch bar on there thinking, okay, we're going to innovate our controller because it's been a while since they did anything. We're going to add a new feature, and then the first run of games may use it, and then after that, you're never going to hear about it again.
Right. Yeah. It ultimately depends on developers, whether it's in-house developers or third-party developers that decide to use that feature or not.
And are any of us using that share feature on a PS4? Are any of us?
I mean, there's people who do. I know people who do.
Yeah, but
I know people that do that. It's an easy way to do
at
it.
Least, at least present party, I can say no. Am I right in saying that? Present party?
I don't think anyone really is.
I have done it, but it's not like a big thing to me.
Okay.
Yeah, but on top of the fact, some games they don't want you to stream the mofos, right? And it's like, how?
Depends
Why?
on the games. Well,
it depends on the games, and
it depends on the game.
And certain scenes of it as well. The only thing that I'm seeing that might be a detractor is that because of the bulkier controller, where the analogs are set up as well, it can cause a problem.
Yeah.
Because now, looking at the controller, it's like you'd have to almost reach out further for your thumb in order to get to those analogs left and right. That's the only problem that I see as far as the ergonomics of this controller.
I'm also concerned about the triggers or the shoulder buttons, rather.
Right. Looking at them, like they're a bit more protruded out. Again, I don't see that being too much of a problem because it's just your fingers that usually use those, so I don't see that being too much of a problem. But I can see where it can become a problem later on down the line. So otherwise, I'm thinking solid controller. Maybe a few tweaks here and there. One of the things that I will say is I never had a problem with PlayStation's D-pads before. I always felt that because of the way they were set up, like as almost as an individual buttons, if there was more precision to it, I compared that to playing Street Fighter on an Xbox 360 controller, trying to use the D-pad for like more precise. There's always that possibility that because of the rounded setup for it, it was harder to pull off moves or inputs didn't get put into that. So the fact that they're still keeping with the same model for the D-pad, I'm cool with that. I've never had a problem with the D-pads. But again, seeing as a lot more titles are now going into the direction of analogs being the main source of moving characters around, this can cause a problem later on down the line, I think.
Maybe.
So maybe. It has its pluses and it has its minuses. It's just one of those things where we're going to have to wait until a title actually comes in before we and actually test it out before we can say like this is great or this didn't work out very well. So I guess if I were to scale it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say 7 or 8 for me. And maybe once we actually get it in our hands, we can actually say like, oh, this is a 10. This is definitely no. Or it can be like, no, this is like a 5, dude. So
be like, nope. By the way, guys, you got to add your own batteries to it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that.
No,
that is that is a huge drawback.
Actually, wasn't that just the Microsoft one? I didn't.
No, what I'm saying, like, did they announce that it's not going to be? Did they announce that it's going to be like it's going to have its own built-in batteries, or do you have to add its own?
It's something like that.
I think these are built in. I think it was Microsoft that said like, "Oh no, we're going to give you the option." And like, no, dude, just put rechargeable batteries in there. Stop trying to milk people for $25 for the rechargeable battery packs. Come on.
What makes me mad is they don't even make their own. What it is because it's cheaper for them to make it. It's cheaper for them to make it if they don't have the built-in batteries.
All right, so
I keep hearing that's a problem. Like that's what's actually happening.
Oh, is it for real? I was just making a joke. But if there really is making it where you have to add batteries, like, come on, guys, come on, don't be cheapskates.
Okay,
I honestly should have looked this up a little more.
And I wonder if that Sony's way of getting if that's how they get to holiday. They're like, we can make all this shit. No built-in batteries on that DualShock 5 though.
That's
we can do it. No built-in batteries for DS5.
If that happens, then yeah, I dropped that. I dropped my score to that controller from a 9 to a 3.
Okay, so I just pulled it.
You had this will
be the
job.
This will be the last thing because I want to move on. But I did just pull up GameSpot's article on this, and it says PS5 controller DualSense uses USB-C and a rechargeable battery.
And a recharge. Okay. Wait. Rechargeable battery built in or a battery that I have to replace?
Well, since it's USB-C, I don't think you have to actually replace anything. You would just charge it up.
That doesn't necessarily mean it because technically, what's it called? The Xbox controllers, they have a USB port.
Okay, so this is what it says.
So do all PlayStation 5 controllers.
Yes, Xbox controllers aren't rechargeable.
So here's the answer, guys. Here's the answer.
They're not?
It says, the company confirmed on the PlayStation blog that the PS5's DualSense will, in fact, use rechargeable batteries just as prior DualShock controllers did.
Okay.
Yeah, then fine.
Okay, so it's built in. See, the way they say it's built in, I'm like, no. Or they said rechargeable. I'm like, is that separate? Or is that a thing that I have to... It's built in.
And quick update, it also says a PlayStation employee confirmed that the DualSense controller will also have an audio jack in addition to the built-in microphone.
Does anyone use the headphone jack? Does anyone use
it? I do. Believe it or not, I do.
I have before. Almost necessary.
So the only one that's still doing like AA batteries or not is still currently Microsoft. So the same thing. All right. The reason why I want to move this on is because there's two major topics I want to go on that. Was Resident Evil has or Capcom may have leaked out some Resident Evil 8 images, Resident Evil 8 Villages.
Yeah.
Coming out. Which it looks like it's going into a new direction. For me, it seems like it's going more into a Silent Hill direction, which is fine. I'm totally cool with that. Because even Resident Evil 7, even though it had incorporated things such as Umbrella, even though it was Blue Umbrella, it was still kind of the idea of Umbrella is still around in some way, sense, or form. Whereas Village, it kind of leads into a direction where it's a new horror story. Now, this is all speculation on my part. Can't necessarily say for sure. We have to wait until more information. All we got were those screenshots of it. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on this.
All right.
So first off, I'll go ahead and start pulling that up. You know what? We've been going to Sean first for a lot of the episodes today. Let's go to Randy first. First off, Randy, what are your thoughts after seeing these images of Resident Evil 8 Village?
I mean, I kind of don't care until I see it's official. Sorry, it's got to change my mouse
me
there.
too.
Like, it's one of those things where, okay, cool. At the same time, I don't want to be like, by the way, guys, this wasn't actually legit. And,
We're scrapping this whole project. So
it's like,
you were getting your hopes up over nothing.
We're just kidding. We're just kidding, guys.
Yeah.
But I look at like, whenever I hear leaks of things at this point, we're in the world of leaks for everything. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I don't care until I say, official announcement, guys. Well, but I mean, the idea of it being a village, I'm like, okay, so it's going to kind of like how Resident Evil 4 was, where you were in like different
villages. It starts out as a village.
Yeah. I like seeing where the art direction is going. If you're going to leak something, be like, oh, cool. That's what you're going for. I'm like, all right, I see you, Capcom.
But then like it's like background stuff. I don't.
Here's the image right here for you.
Oh look, Resident Evil 4 right there. Resident Evil 8. Village image. I'm like, eh.
But you know what though? This could easily be something fan made.
Yeah. I also like that. I mean, I appreciate that. If you go back to that image, go back.
Yeah.
It has the number 8 in there for the V. Like it that looks cool, but I'm like, did they think about that? Is that legitimately Capcom did that?
Like this could easily be something fan made.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember when they announced supposedly announced Dr. Evil air quote supposedly
Okay.
They announced Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
Yeah.
Before it was actually the official one that came out.
Yeah.
Like somebody was actually able to deconstruct the image of the number 4 that they used, and it was just like, yeah, this isn't them. This was
it's also like it's like totally photoshopped in that way. You're like,
Scroll.
I mean, I like it.
Well, I'm checking to see for the
what
articles.
sources are we talking here? Yeah.
So I mean, there's Game Radar here.
But where are they getting it from? I was like, where did they get this from?
Exactly.
I mean, it could very well be. This could also be
because you want to know what that looks like. What's his face? Barker.
That is him. I don't think they actually used the screenshots from 8.
Okay.
But I guess to kind of get the idea of what the images can look like. Because
that could be 7 real easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so according to this, they actually even had an update. It says Resident Evil 8 could lean heavily into the realm of folk horror, according to a new report from biohazardcast.com, which claims...
Who the hell's biohazardcast.com?
We'll take a look at that in a second. No, thank you.
Who are they?
Which claims that the sequel to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard will be out by spring 2021 and will be officially titled Resident Evil Village. The latest article, which corroborates with the information provided by yesterday's link seen below, suggests that Capcom is taking inspiration from the modern folk horror genre for its latest survival horror installment, with an incorrectly spelled installment, which apparently is set in Europe and gives fan favorite character Chris Redfield an integral role in the story. There will also be a new stalker type enemy, the Witch, who will behave similarly to Nemesis we've just encountered in Resident Evil 3 Remake by regularly hunting the player down throughout the events of the main campaign. There are a few interesting tidbits to be gleaned from the story, which cites an anonymous emailer as its source, so it's worth taking all of it with plenty of salt before Capcom makes an official announcement itself. Let me finish. Let me finish.
God damn it.
Let me finish. With E3 2020 canceled, who knows when that might be, but hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Let's see. Resident Evil 8 will be revealed in some capacity later this month if the latest round of rumors are to be believed, and if that wasn't enough, it's reportedly going to be quite the departure for the long-running survival horror series. Resident Evil 8 rumors have continued to swirl for some time now, but this latest batch from noted Resident Evil and Silent Hill leaker Aesthetic Games has given us perhaps our biggest insight into the upcoming title yet. Aesthetic Gamer notes that his source are including that Resident Evil 8 will release in 2021 for the current and next-gen consoles. And the actual tweet that he sent out is, so the little...
This one right here, down here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the little... for anybody who's not watching this and is actually listening... so the little game is done. This will be breaking this month with more details later not by myself, but I needed to clear some stuff up. Resident Evil 2021 is Resident Evil 8, but it wasn't always. RE8. During most of its development, it existed as Revelations 3.
Okay.
That's totally different than what...
So I think what he was saying, I think what he was saying was that originally it was supposed to continue the Revelation storyline, and if you do look at the last Revelation storyline, it was kind of all over the place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the idea that it can actually fall into a folk horror setting makes sense.
I guess.
So
I don't know. Anonymous emailer. No, I don't believe any of that now.
I would want to see more screenshots. Because I did see make a little bit here and there stuff like it's because it's gonna. I suppose it's gonna be in first person like Resident Evil 7 was.
Or 7 was, yeah.
Yeah, and
I want to play that again, by the way.
Okay,
it's good.
Play it again.
It's good
you have Final
definitely.
Fantasy 7 to deal with, but whatever. I would like to see like a few more screenshots. I don't need to see like some photoshopped thing with Chris Redfield from 7. Looking all with his gun and whatnot and say call it Resident Evil 8, but I wouldn't like to see more, I guess. But I mean, this is the point. That's what leaks do, right? That's what leaks are for. So
get us talking.
It almost feels like the leak could have actually came out from Capcom directly, just to kind of test the waters of what
Or
people
just
would
some
say and
asshole
enjoy.
who's really talented with Photoshop.
Also true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, in this day and age of VPNs, it's actually harder to track things like this. So who's to say that Capcom didn't itself do it?
I mean, they could
Maybe.
just be faking it out. Like, here, by
Yeah.
the way, guys,
You know,
we got
like
something.
it's like it wasn't that episode of South Park where they're trying to find out a government conspiracy based off of who pooped in the urinal.
Yep.
And like there's that scene where like the government tries to like, oops, I accidentally dropped this document that incriminates such and such. Like I almost feel like Capcom could be doing that as well, in the sense of like, well, we want to see what people would think, what they would say. So they create this anonymous emailer that's going on there who's feeding information to Aesthetic Games or Gamer. And he comes out and he says it, and then it's just like, all right, let's see what the audience says. Let's take a look. It's a controlled environment that Capcom may have created, or I could be completely wrong. And you're right; it could be just somebody who's really good at Photoshop put this out there, and it's just like everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
For all we know, like Capcom has already been working on Resident Evil 8, and it's in a completely different direction, and then someone just created this.
Or they are paying somebody to work on Resident Evil 8. And they have been for about maybe a few years now.
Yeah, I mean, there's the speculation can go into so many different directions at this point.
Oh, yeah.
as to what's going to happen. But I want your guys' opinion on this. What do you guys think of the idea of Resident Evil Village, if it's actually real?
We have almost no information on Resident Evil Village, or Resident Evil 8 right now.
Yeah.
All it is screenshots and a kind of a release date that can get bumped stupidly easy. So right now, at this point, all I wanted to see was like, oh, any art direction. So now all I know is like Chris Redfield's in it. Cool. Who else is it? Is it Jill? Is it Claire? Is it Rebecca? Hell, I don't know. Is it Barry? So all I was able to see was Chris looking like very Resident Evil 7 that can be faked. So right now, I mean, I don't know.
Randy?
I have no idea.
Randy, what do you think?
You know what? I mean, because this is so early and I'm not big on leaks of things, especially for such a, like, this is a franchise that keeps getting talked about a lot. So it's one of those things where we could speculate, but it'd be like, for me, it doesn't, good until I see the actual product. Like, show me the legit shit. Show me, I want to see little things. Like, if we were talking about, like, this happened to be like, oh, look, leaks about a new Silent Hill game. Like, oh, yeah, because Silent Hill hasn't been great. Like, things have not gone well just as a whole for that franchise for a while. It's like, oh, Silent Hills is gone? Damn it. Wait, Silent Hills is coming back? Yeah. But in Resident Evil, I'm like, until I
just recently had a Resident Evil.
Yeah, and it's been really successful.
And we've had a yearly Resident Evil, actually, if you think about it. Resident Evil 2 and then Resident Evil 3.
It's like, things are going great. I'm like, it's weird that they... I mean, for me to speculate anything on this, it's like, there isn't anything I'm excited about until I see something.
I guess for me personally, I'm really excited at the prospect of where this can go, and going into a new direction for the Resident Evil series. Again, we don't know if this is actually true or not. I mean, and we're saying this right now, so we don't want anybody coming, well, we heard the guys at Word Vomit talk about it and say it's going to come out. We don't know.
Are not that influential.
We don't have those types of connections or those ties.
No.
But I do like the idea of it throwing something out there in the sense of what we might be getting. It gets my intrigue going. I mean, like, what's going to happen? Are they going to actually go in this direction? You're right. It can go into a sense of Resident Evil 4, where it starts off as you start in a village looking for the president's daughter.
That's the best Resident Evil you will ever play.
Whereas now it can be, I'm kind of with that on Randy's response, but we'll get into that another time.
Why, you want 6?
As far as the village,
I didn't say
itself,
that.
though,
don't be crazy.
Like, because
you're right.
If there's anything that we can say, like with what Silent Hill was able to accomplish with their titles, whether it's Silent Hill as far as the city or Silent Hill The Room, which wasn't the greatest Silent Hill, but it was a very ambitious title of what they were trying to do.
Yeah, they're trying.
It's really cool that the idea is that Capcom is trying to do that. Well, they've got something where they're limiting it to just a village now, and let's see where we can go with this. Let's see how expansive we can make it. Underground tunnels doesn't necessarily have to be in like tech-based or like secret laboratories. It's a village. What can they do with that? That's what gets me.
And that's even if that's and that's even if that is the area it's going to be in.
Yeah. I'm hoping it does. Don't get me wrong. The idea of like secret labs and everything is cool, but they've already done that. I want to see what they can do when they're limiting themselves to just remaining in the village. Now, again, this is all pure speculation. We have to wait and see if anything else comes out about this later or not. This isn't to say that Resident Evil 8 isn't coming out. It's just that we don't know if it's going to be Resident Evil Village. Like, for all we know, they're already working on 8 as a completely different title.
And 9.
Possibly. There's a very good possibility. So the reason I was trying to get this, this topic going was because it also leads to another question. We don't have time to jump into this because I really want to dig into this one. But Capcom also did release a survey, primarily in Asia, but you can actually type in United States if you want to take part of this survey as well, as to their ideas of like what other titles you would like to see remade that Capcom is doing. Now, based off of Resident Evil 2 and 3, they've got a really good formula of how things are working. Truth be told, I'm still finishing. Oh, I think they're sticking to
That's
Resident
not
Evil.
part of the survey, Sean.
Fuck
not
off,
part of this. Nope, it's not part of the survey.
Stop.
Because of you, now no one's gonna gonna do it.
No, now they're gonna disregard our entire topic right now because like, oh, this guy brought up Power Stone. Fuck that guy. No,
we don't like making money. God.
Yeah. So the idea that damn it, Sean, I lost my train of thought. So
also, Sean, Power Stone's not a moneymaker. I'm gonna be honest with you right now.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so going back to like they have the right naming formula. Like to me, I am still genuinely unnerved when Mr. X is following me. And I see him walking, and he hasn't noticed me. Like that. That's
X
still,
gonna
like,
give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. He's like, he's looking to give it to me.
Hard,
right? That's still very unnerving. Like seeing him walk across the room, and he hasn't noticed me. Like that's like I got to be careful. I got to move fast because he's gonna double back in just a bit. Like that really works. And so we've seen that they found a really cool formula to how to make everything work. And now they're asking, hey, if there's other titles. On the other side of that, we do have the speculation of Resident Evil 8. So my question to you guys is, not just for Capcom in general, but it seems that we're going into a direction where remakes are making a huge return or a huge impact. We have Final Fantasy, we have Streets of Rage, as we mentioned before, Resident Evil, going back to titles. It almost feels like we're back in the 90s because these are all titles that came out around that time period.
Cool.
We see the positive and negatives, but I want to get your guys' input. Based off of these remakes that are constantly coming up, are you happy that they're coming in under new context, or are you a little disappointed that we're not getting newer content? We're just rehashing the same stuff with new mechanics. We'll go ahead and start with Sean on this one, if that's all right.
Okay. Well, if you don't got anything new to show, then don't show it. I mean, you have to, especially with like new IPs, you have to really have some serious faith behind this IP that you feel like, this is going to be like a moneymaker. This is going to be the next Resident Evil. This is going to be the next Street Fighter. Especially for Capcom, man. They will only back something for sure that is going to make them a skajillion dollars. And
these zeros aren't a skajillion.
Several. So, I mean, like it's if they, especially like Monster Hunter or something, they're not gonna. It's like if it's gonna be the next Monster Hunter, yeah. I mean, right now they need to make some money, like every other company right now. So if it's gonna be like, hey, we can totally remake Resident Evil 1 or whatnot, then yeah, go for it. And then that's what's happening. That's why we have 3 Resident Evils that are remade right now. And guess what? They're selling like gangbusters. It's amazing. As for the survey, I mean, I could list a whole bunch of games they could do and do like a remake and probably make a skajillion dollars as well. But I mean, that's up to them. So I don't mind new. Rather like remakes or all new IPs. Like, shut up. Is the game good? Yeah, great.
All right, Randy.
I mean, it's tough because we live in a world where games can be ported over, and it's done that way. But then that's not necessarily what we're talking here. There's a lot of games that get ported over, and it's like whether or not it gets the love, because it's hard to rebuild these games. There's a lot of games that you just can't. It takes so much time to do that. But Capcom's taken a chance and redid it with Resident Evil 2 remake, which was very successful for them. Heck, even with the original Resident Evil remake, way back when, it was still a solid title, super good. They put it on GameCube, and it was a hot title for them. And with Resident Evil 3, I don't know what the exact numbers is with the Resident Evil 3 remake, but I know that they've done really well. Despite the fact,
money. Okay.
Yeah, and scores, but it's hard because of what's going on. It's hard, game sales. It's going to be tough this year for all around. It's going to be hard.
Oh yeah,
all around. But
I guess you can go by downloads. How many download numbers?
I mean, that's what I mean. Just sales in general, like how much.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's just not. I guess that's how it is. But
yeah,
but it's going to be tougher because there are going to be people who aren't on board with buying just the digital copy. I mean, like you both expressed, it's like, oh, you really wanted to get the physical copy of Final Fantasy VII, but you kind of were forced into getting the digital copy.
Yeah.
But I think as far as this survey goes, because I actually just kind of finished it, it's the idea they just wanted to know how they're doing with the franchise. And then they kind of low-key ask, hey, what Resident Evil games have you played? And I'm assuming those are the boxes that they're gonna look at and say, hey, we should maybe redo this. Now, not every time should a remake be done. I think not always, and it's tough.
Yeah, I guess
it's tough because I know you talk about you just mentioned Power Stone. I'm like, I can be very honest and tell you because I've seen the numbers. It is not a huge moneymaker. It is not, and for them to redo that financially, unless they have like another hot title waiting to take the brunt of the lack of sales,
you do that now. People are going to get hype over it.
But it's hype. That's one thing. Sales. That's what I'm talking about. Actual dollars. And I've seen how Power Stone has done when certain things occur, and it's like it's not a big enough draw on that title specifically.
I suppose.
I mean, I'm just talking actual money. Like I look at game sales all the time wondering, okay, that could survive. And I don't even know whether or not like what would you consider a successful title? Because if they want to, because I'm assuming with these remakes, they want to make them AAA titles. They need to make them as AAA titles, so that means they're gonna have to break a lot of dollars. And I don't know. With Resident Evil, it's a strong brand. I can say with great faith that if they remake any other Resident Evil games, there's a good chance, as long as it's from like the main story arc and it's a beloved title, it's gonna make money in. Because I've gotten bonus checks because of that game franchise. I got married and I got my wife's engagement ring because of Resident Evil 5.
I thought it was Street Fighter versus Tekken.
No, it's not
Street
that.
Fighter 4.
Street Fighter 4 helped, but the major seller in that, because Resident Evil, if you look at it, sold more money, sold more units, and across the board. And it's like, yeah, I got a bonus check. Right I got a very large bonus check because of that. It's like, yeah, woohoo! Now, are there as a whole, are there older titles I'd like to see remade? Hell yes. I really hope that Sega does continue on with their Panzer Dragoon plan as far as getting Panzer Dragoon 2 and eventually Saga in. I don't know if it'll make that. I know that I've already bought the game and I'm going to buy the game again on the physical edition. So
redo Orta, that'd be cool.
I know
Orta, not so much. But
I know a lot of people.
Saga, yes.
I know a lot of people.
Saga,
want to see Vampire Savior come back, but I think Randy's right in the sense of like it just depends on the numbers, like how much money you can actually make. The thing is that
Sean, okay, hold on. Sean's reaction makes me go, so do you actually know how much that game's made? How much that, because I know that they re-released the digital one on PS3, and I could say that it was really disappointing.
I bet it was.
You got to remember that the fighting game community, while numerically, if you were to just look at the numbers, is large, it's not as large as like the following of Call of Duty or something. It's like,
yeah, and the problem is that Capcom, let's be really honest, Capcom is a AAA title studio. I mean, really, if everything does not, if everything that they put out isn't making a skajillion dollars when it comes out, it's a problem.
Okay, so
like,
let me
Street Fighter 5 when it came out.
Let me cut you off. I'm sorry to cut you off just for a sec, but we'll jump back into this in just a second.
All right.
Let me put in my 2 cents on this, in the sense of remakes and new titles. So there is a part of me that would like to see new content because I always do like to see where story progression goes for these titles, for new titles that come out. So when we went into Resident Evil 7, for instance, that was a departure of what we usually go through. It was more of just like an infection that happened to an individual family, so it was an isolated case. compared to like global pandemics that they end up creating.
Yeah.
I like seeing where progression goes. I like to see what happens with characters. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for the remakes because the remakes are done with love. Essentially, they actually take time,
absolutely.
their effort. It's not a cash grab. They went out and they remade these titles and they added elements to it, and it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. The same can be said for Final Fantasy, where I think they've even gone farther than Resident Evil, and this isn't a knock on Resident Evil, but it's like what they've included in there. Anybody who played the original Final Fantasy VII isn't going to get the exact same Final Fantasy VII in the story of like story modes or anything. There's changes here and there. There's intricate parts that they're adding. They may have even removed some parts. Like one of my favorite things about 7 is that they actually introduced another soldier. I think I said this before in another podcast.
I gotta fight that guy.
Where Cloud talked about being part of Soldier, but you never at any point see another Soldier member. They're all gone, supposedly. You don't see it. So we don't actually get to see how cool Soldier is. We only have to go based off of the storytelling of a guy who has somebody else's memories.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, you meet another Soldier. You see how powerful he is and how much more he can become. You're going to be facing this guy more and more often. So the idea of a remake is cool if done properly.
Mr. X himself is that same situation.
It could be that video games are also kind of falling in the same category of Hollywood, where Hollywood is rehashing a lot of the same stuff, reintroducing things, and it's not in the sense of like they're being lazy. It's that these are tried and true formulas that generate money.
Yeah,
we've talked about it before in the sense of like, why won't they make new stuff? Why won't they make any new stories, new content, original movies? And the reason being is because there is that risk that they're going to be putting in a lot of money into something, and then it's not going to pay out in return.
Yeah.
The only movie series that I can think of off the top of my head, there's probably more. I'm not saying that they're not out there, but as far as like a big budget title with a lot of excitement is the John Wick series. That's like one of the newest characters that came out recently in cinema history that's doing really well. Yeah. But I can't, and again, that's just off the top of my head. I can't name 5 titles off the top of my head. I'd have to actually go in and do research and look in order to see if there's any other titles like that. And I think it's the same thing with video games, in which, Capcom has something like, hold on, let me finish, where Capcom has something like Resident Evil, which they know that they can bank off of, and they can just continue to create something new off of that, or in this case, remake and create better or like new mechanics.
It's a new experience.
Yeah, new experience while still following the same story plot. So I'm kind of down in the middle. I'm glad that we're getting these remakes. It does have a nostalgia feel to it, while also adding enough new elements to where I'm still having a lot of fun. But I am very much somebody who follows the story. I'm one of the rare people that actually follow the story of fighting games. Like I want to know why these characters are doing what they do. A lot of people that are just like, no, I just want to play the fighting game, and that's fine. That's totally fine.
That's fine too, yeah.
But I follow the Mishima storyline in Tekken. I follow the King of Fighters storyline. I follow the Street Fighter storylines for every individual character. It's one of those things that I really like. So when we keep going back to the same stuff over and over again, it's stories that have already been told, but I'm still having fun. So it's a 50-50 line for me.
Yeah, you like what you like.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be done well. Like, I don't need to have games that are just, hey, we didn't really do anything much with this, but here you go.
It's a remake. Here you go. Yeah.
I mean, it's a port. I'm like, if it's a straight port, unless it's a game I love, it's like, oh, if it's a port of this, not a huge deal. But I'm not gonna like try and like if they're trying to tout this out as like, oh, it's like we're gonna make this like, it's a AA title, so you're gonna pay $40 for it. I'm like, I feel like this is a $20 title. Or, like I said, with like you mentioned, Sean, before, that Capcom is a AAA studio, which they are, but they also have a lot of indie titles that they've worked on. They actually released that thing. They released that new undersea platformer for the Switch, which actually is really dope. I actually wanted to buy that game, but it's one of those things where they're taking a risk, and it's one of those situations where it's like Okami all over again. Okami, when it came out, they're like, it's very artsy, it's very Legend of Zelda-ish, it's a fun title. It was unfortunately cel shaded, which a lot of people were against at the time, and it didn't do well for them financially, and then they kind of backtracked what they had said about, we don't care about like sales numbers. Just, they told the producer, hey, do what you do. this is going to be an art house game. And then they realized it didn't sell that well. They spent a lot of money on it. So like, okay, back to Street Fighter Resident Evil, guys.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry time. So,
And that's actually where I was going to go for the next question.
Yeah.
So for titles that we haven't seen a lot from, Power Stone,
Rival Schools,
Vampire Savior.
Yeah.
And you know, we're naming off a couple of Capcom ones, but there's also other ones from other publishers and other developers. It's just these.
No, we can still go on Capcom for this.
Since we're already in the
just
Capcom
in general.
phase. I'm just saying in general, like
Yeah.
these aren't the only titles. I know there's other titles that people probably want, but just because we're talking about Capcom, it's the easiest one to go off of right now. What is your guys' opinion on if they were going to do a revival on these titles, giving them to smaller developers?
Which is kind of what's happening now, anyway.
I mean, not really though, because like the games that they have now, Resident Evil, like the remakes, those are like that's like their big squads there now.
Like
it is, but it's still their engine too.
Let me
but there's no way you could finish like Resident Evil 3 while working on Resident Evil 2. Someone else is working.
I mean,
okay, so let me give you an example.
They have been doing that, dude.
Let me give you guys an example really quick. Let's say, because again, we're still in the Capcom department. Let's say Clover Studios was still around. You know, let's just for argument's sake, okay? And you know, people have been wanting. Let's go. I think of the biggest titles of the smaller ones, it's going to be Vampire Savior. So let's stick with Vampire Savior. If Capcom went over to Clover at the time and said, "Hey, we want to bring back this franchise, but currently we're currently working on other titles on the main department. So here is the structure." Even though Randy has let us know before that nobody keeps the coding on these, but this is all make believe. This is all theoretical. So let's stick with that. Hey, here's the source code for Darkstalkers. We want to bring back this franchise. We're going to put this on your guys' lap. Please start working on this.
By the way, you fuck this up, I kill you. I'll show you the knife.
No.
Again, we're theoretical. It's a theory.
Sorry.
It's not real. Don't get your hopes up. Remember, Clover Studios is gone. I'm sorry. But in that sense, do you think that would be a viable way of bringing back titles because again, since it's not falling under like the AAA team that's working on the Resident Evil titles or whatnot, do you think that this would actually be a very good way to reintroduce series to appease, even if it's a small category, and also possibly try to generate an interest for it?
I mean, they kind of tried that when they did the Darkstalkers 3 HD remix.
Yeah, they did.
PlayStation 3.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not a lot of people did. And I mean, I thought what they did with it, I love what they did with it because they did use a smaller studio. They they did the Street Fighter 3 HD remix treatment with all the different like goals you can attain and all the visuals they put on the side. They did an amazing job on that. I don't think you could, for a game like this, you could ask a small studio to step up and try and make it better, because you would need a good squad behind it to give it its best push.
Yeah.
But fighting games are a tough gig because it all depends on how many people are playing it, what are the features in there. I mean, big titles have a hard time making it. Even it's like, oh yeah. I mean, there's always going to be like, oh, I really love Skullgirls, but is Skullgirls a huge moneymaker for a studio the size of Capcom?
You could even go Dead or Alive on that. Like Dead or Alive, even in the fight scene, like people love Dead or Alive, but I don't see the scene being really good. And those games selling crazy. Yeah.
I didn't even know that they released a new Dead or Alive, let alone they're like, oh, they're thinking of making a new one. I'm like, wait, there's one that came out recently? Like for real?
Oh, so cool. And you look into it and you're like, oh, I can get every piece of clothing for what? $2,000.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, right?
So
it's one of those things where for a smaller, like if it was a smaller studio making a fighting game, they have a better chance because their overhead's lower, their expectations lower. But for Capcom to try and go into their old titles, unless they already have other titles, like let's say every other big title they had sold, they were like over 1 million sellers out the gate. We got all these. Like
that's what Capcom wants to see, though. Really.
Well, I mean,
that's what every company wants to see.
Everyone wants to see that. They want to see the big money come in, so they can fund other, like I guess you could call it the passion projects.
Yeah, exactly.
But
as you mentioned, the art house of games.
Yeah, the art house titles. But I always think about it with fighting games, it's a tougher gig because it is depending on how much participation you can get.
What about other titles like if you guys
like I'd like to see Beautiful
Joe. Do you guys
Joe.
remember Rez? Like that was
yeah.
like I know there's an audience of people who would want to see like a new title of that. I don't remember who the developer was for that or who the publisher was.
I have no idea.
Rez was developed by Ugo, I think was their name. But they did Sega and I forgot who else. They actually did re-release Rez and they introduced a new like not mini game, but a new stage in it specifically for PS4.
Cool.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, actually I owned it.
That's the VR one, right?
Well, if you can do it in VR, but I played it not in VR.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I feel like you'd get sick if you played that in VR.
I don't care.
I mean, it's in it. You could play it in PSVR. Let me see.
You're looking it up right now, aren't you?
Rez Infinite. Yeah, it's called Rez Infinite. And who developed that? I know it was. Hold on.
But I think you guys are seeing where I'm going with that.
But yeah, no, like I'm sorry. It's
I get it. Yeah.
Q Entertainment, and it was Ugo, and then it was also part of the Sonic team that made this way back.
Cool.
Then. But they actually have done that, and it was for PS4, and I don't know if it sold a lot, but I know I bought it. I know I bought the physical copy. I know I bought the special edition with the book.
I know I should have bought it. Yeah. I didn't.
You can get it on Steam. It's on sale on Steam now.
Oh, cool. I would love to do that in VR.
So, but I mean, it's nice to see titles like that, and it also, again, by a small studio, so they can take their idea of success is lower. Mm-hmm. But actually, the games I'd like to see Capcom remake are some of the ones I'm like, oh look, you know what? Give me another Beautiful Joe. I'd like to see that. That'd be cool. Because a lot of people are like, we've mentioned a lot of Capcom titles.
Again, art house games though.
Well, not even art house. I mean, that's a platformer, but I look at it as the ones we've mentioned are all like fighting games, and fighting games or competitive games. It's very different and difficult for them to.
Well, also fighting games was Capcom's history, really. I mean, that's what we all kind of remember from.
I don't know. I always think of Mega Man. So
yeah, that too.
Which they've also had success on, like the Mega Man. They released Mega Man 0, as far as the
collection.
The collection, which is dope, and
it's great.
They did a really good job on it. So I mean, if they were to redo that, or not redo that, but more of their other, I guess, lesser titles would be good. If they could finally somehow work out their old arcade games that happen to be licensed, I would love that.
But, you mean like Final Fight?
No, that's not licensed.
Oh,
I'm talking like Punisher. I'm talking
Predator and whatnot.
Alien versus Predator.
That arcade game that we never saw on consoles.
No, you can't do that.
That was great.
But it's one of those things where they pay for that. Everyone talks about it. I was actually really surprised when they redid Strider, and that I actually really enjoyed it. And that's another,
I never picked that one up. I need to pick that one up.
It's good. It's definitely feels that it has the feels of it looks really polished. The sound effects is really good. But I also would like to see more. But I know it's in order for them to get to the point where like, okay, we're going to try more stuff. They gotta bite the bullet and be like, okay, for real, guys, we're gonna make Dino Crisis remake. All right, there we go. And then followed by Dino Crisis. Yeah. See, now you make that face. I'm like, but a lot of people want Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird.
Sure. Every game can't be for me. Like, all right, fine. Here, take the Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play it, but sure.
And it's weird. But
if someone can have fun with it, hell yeah, why not?
Yeah, well, who am I to be like, yeah, you can't have this because I don't want it? Nah, that's just dick move.
I'm just trying to think if there's any other franchises that I felt like have fallen off that should come back. Like I know I've mentioned this before, where I'm like, I really wish Dead Space would have continued. Like I feel like that's a franchise that shouldn't have died on the PS3 and the Xbox 360.
BioShock. I would love more BioShocks. It's just I'm not going to get them.
Well, but at least with BioShock, they've re-released those games that you could still play them.
Yeah, that's
actually
good.
I think Space. Last month was. By last month, I mean March, because if anybody listens to this podcast even later on, but March's free titles for PlayStation Plus was the BioShock package.
Yeah,
so part 1, part 2, and Infinite.
And those games are coming to the Switch. They're coming to the Switch.
That's right.
Yes, they are.
But it's great. Like, oh, I'm talking franchises that I'm like, oh, they're no longer on anything. Like, I mean, maybe PC if that, but like as far as console goes, no.
Yeah. Okay. I get you.
Like, trying to think if there's any how many other franchises I think that should have. Like, I feel bummed that I was looking through my game titles. I'm like, oh yeah, I really loved the Fable franchise. God damn it, Lionshead Studios.
I stopped caring after 2. Like, I played 3, and I was just like, I don't like this one. Like,
I didn't like 3. Yeah. Same.
Not a lot of people did, which is the problem. But it's like, I get it. But that's 1 out of 3 titles.
That's true.
That,
And I don't know why
like,
it stopped me from the other Fables, because
So,
there's like a fucking
because the other Fables was the Connect one after that.
yeah. Oh.
well, there's that other one that was like a RPG, or Dragon. I really love Dragon Age franchise, and that's also a series that just died out.
I mean, I know they're working on 4, or at least they're trying to work on 4 right now. But
figure it out, Lionsgate. Can't be a Connect game.
Lionsgate's done.
Lionshead. It was
Lionshead. They're done.
They closed down. They're like, not enough people bought 3. Gotta close, guys.
Because you
fucked
it up.
It was also the Connect one, because wasn't that still Lionshead?
I think that might have been their B squad. It's also Microsoft. They're the ones that's their studio.
Oh, that reminds me. I want to retract the statement I made last week on our podcast.
Which was?
So I learned something the other day that because I said a statement saying that Microsoft does not.
Oh, yeah.
They'll buy studios but not use them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: they're using them.
Yeah.
But
I said that.
You're right, but it's like, I was feeling like, then where is? I need trailers. I need movement. I need to see movement. Okay. Here's the thing.
No, you don't, actually. That's how they say. But yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They're kind of barred from releasing anything that isn't like Microsoft. So if Microsoft was like, we're going to have a big thing, then they're going to dump a bunch of stuff on their Microsoft thing. For example, E3. So if Microsoft was going to be at E3 and E3 wasn't like canned because of what's going on, that's when you'll get a boatload of stuff from these studios. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But it's like, I want something kind of sporadically through like the year, but they don't do that. It's whenever Microsoft is going to plan on putting something out. And it's like, well, we got a boatload of stuff. Let's throw a boatload of stuff out. Not little stuff like Sony does or Nintendo does. I went, oh, okay. And that's an actual policy Microsoft puts on their developers. I went, oh,
yeah. Developers don't make announcements. It's the publishing house that does it.
Well,
unless it's something else. It's like,
I'm used to something else.
It's like as a whole, it's like, no, especially these smaller studios, they use their publisher's PR person. It's like,
I'm used to something else. So
it's like, no, man.
That's okay. So retracted statement.
I think that's what I had mentioned. It's like, dude, if they have something to say, they'll say it.
I didn't believe you. Then I looked it up.
Like, dude. Yeah, don't believe the guy who actually worked in the game industry. Just
I don't really.
I didn't have anything there.
Because the bullshit that comes out of your mouth sometimes, and I'm like,
but it's true.
I know you're lying. I know you're lying to me.
Well, when I'm joking, yes. But I worked for a long time. I'm just saying.
So, guys, we're about roughly at the last 10 minutes of the show.
Okay.
And I wanted to get into a little bit of what's going to be coming up soon.
Oh, sure.
So as everybody recalls of everything that's going on in the world right now, it is preventing us from doing a couple of things that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
One of the things that we wanted to do is we actually wanted to get together with the guys from 10 times 10.
Yay.
And just hang out for the day, record content, podcast.
We can't do that. Boo.
Unfortunately, because of the shelter order and we're being pushed out a little bit more, it passed the date that we had already set. A date we had actually put out a month prior, so that we
almost
can make
a month and a half.
Really? Yeah, no, it was actually 4 weeks. I remember exactly.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Isn't 4 weeks a month?
Yeah, well, because he's saying a month
and a half.
Oh, okay.
He was saying 6 weeks. We did this so that we can make sure that everybody's schedule was empty, and then anybody who needed to request time off could request for time off, because not everybody works the 9 to 5 shifts, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, maybe.
We finally had it set. So the bad news is that we weren't able to come together, which sucks because I put in a lot of time in Def Jam Fight for New York, because I had created a friend of the show, Rock Rage. I created him in the game.
Oh, that challenge is on the video too, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
So that's been put on hold. But one of the things that we were going to do is we were going to play Betrayal. And if everything goes well, we're still working on the kinks here and there to try to make this work. But if everything goes well, we'll actually still be able to do that. So our April 25th recording, we'll be doing that with them in order to set everything up. I've also I've been throwing ideas to both Randy and Sean about this, where I want to do like this little tournament for protagonists. Whether they're in video games.
We should spring that on them by surprise.
Nah, just so that people know that we're working on creating content, especially in this difficult time. We really want to be able to make stuff out there. So, putting it out there. Thankfully, because of everything that we're doing on Zoom, also it is creating more content for different avenues. So these podcasts will start appearing on our YouTube page, so that people can check them out on there as well. So more access to everything. So yeah, we've got plans. We're trying to work them through. Unfortunately, this is making it a little bit more difficult. And by this, I mean the thing we can't really say. Otherwise, we get demonetized if somewhere down the line we do start making money or getting flagged for these types of things. So yeah, we're trying to make content for as much content as we can, given the situation. And we appreciate anybody who's still following along with us despite everything that's going on. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
Also, Sean, any new stuff that you're working on?
So I all-nightered, as we probably already said. I all-nightered a video for East Bay Comic Con. It's in Emmanuel's Dropbox. All he needs to do is just put it out there,
Desktop
and it is done and done. Huh?
Desktop now.
Okay, cool. And now it'll be in the Word Vomit Productions YouTube channel. And let's see. Any streams? Oh, we're doing the end of the thing. The stream,
well, just like new stuff that we're coming out during this difficult time.
All right, I wasn't sure we were at that part of the show. Okay, well, I'm going to be streaming. I've been streaming a lot more Soul Calibur lately on Saturdays, and watching my friends beat the hell out of me in Soul Cal, which is fun. Everyone loves it. It's a hoot, so people love it, and I'm gonna be doing that Saturday night. If you start seeing that, I don't know if I'm going to be streaming Final Fantasy VII Remake the way I did when I first started it. I don't think I'm gonna have people like show up on the Discord and chat through things and whatnot, because it was a little distracting. But yeah, I'll probably stream a little bit of that, and I do want to finish up The Last of Us, because that game is coming out. Randy, it's coming out. It is canceled and not canceled. It is postponed indefinitely.
Indefinitely, yeah.
But those guys put too much work into that game to have it not come out. So it's coming out.
I feel like there's been titles like that before.
Yeah.
I mean, games get canceled, dude.
Like games that were like 98% complete, and then they just scrapped it.
Yeah,
they do, but they put a lot of money into it too, so it's coming out. If not, then wow, Naughty Dog, you just was like, hey, here.
That's a
lot of money that's a lot of money you just threw down the toilet. So congrats to that. So, but that game's coming out. Period. Sony wants it out. Naughty Dog wants it out. There's no way it's not coming out. So yeah, I'll probably beat that.
We hope.
I'm 99%.
You know what? We're crossing our fingers like this. We probably can't see it right now, but Sean probably has his fingers wrapped around like 7 times over.
He's like, this game better come out.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Sean, you need to stop doing that.
This is where my hands are.
You got to stop doing that. It's not good for your hands, especially if you're streaming. Stop like rotating it 7 times over.
My hands are fine.
Also, that's gross, dude. It's gross seeing you do that. Nasty. Ugh.
What? My hands are fine. They're right here.
The hands on the side, buddy.
This? Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I
was going off of like rotating this 7 times over. That's how badly you want it. I was saying knock that out. That's gross.
I can't do that. That's not humanly possible. All right. Let's see. What else? Yeah. Sure. It was a horrible joke to begin with, Emmanuel.
I thought it was okay. Second double cross. And then
okay.
Bam.
Okay.
Bam. All fingers crossed.
with that said and done, I think that's it. You'll see the stream on Vander978 at twitch.tv. And I do have an idea that I want to talk to you guys about after all of this,
Right on.
for maybe LPs. But yeah, man,
All right.
that's good.
Last little thing. Actually, Randy, anything you want to contribute to that?
I mean,
This isn't final words. I have one more question to ask for you guys.
I'm just playing video games. Well, when I can, but right now it's only Marvel or Ultimate Marvel.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
I want to play that.
The game is fucking. I just really enjoying it.
I bet it's amazing.
I heard they just released the Fantastic Four pack.
Yeah. They're going through the all of the.
I want to play it.
Their season passes or whatnot, and I got Doom's in there.
Last question for you guys before we end this show.
Okay.
What titles are you guys currently waiting for? Like excited for? We're all waiting for titles, but like excited for that aren't out yet.
That aren't out yet. I mean, Streets of Rage 4. That's gonna be hot.
Right, Sean?
Last of Us 2.
Again, he's got his fingers crossed seven times over.
I hope it does, because that's a lot of effort. But
so do I.
Dang, to hear that stuff about Naughty Dog, and
we're joking around, but yeah, we hope that comes out too. You know what I'm excited for is The Wolf Among Us Season 2. They released a trailer for that, and I'm really excited. It still looks. I mean, I'm hoping they do it justice like Telltale's did when they were still around. I think it might have been even something that they were already working on before they shut down, so they just kind of picked up where they left off.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what we can hope for Last of Us 2. Again, we tease you a little bit about it, but we understand and we want that game to come out as well. So
yeah.
All right, gentlemen, final words before we call it.
I just had them.
Okay. Well, yeah, you did. Randy, any final words?
I mean, be cool and play fun games.
All right. My final words, you know what? Because of a lot of the things that, as far as those events that I was talking about, concerts and what that had to be canceled, a lot of musicians, a lot of artists have decided to do free streams of events that they've done before, and also ones that are benefiting good causes, such as the Corona-19 response team, the likes of that. So definitely check those out. They're free shows. If you can donate, definitely donate, because it all goes towards good causes. They're pretty easy to find. If you look up any of your particular favorite bands on social media, you might be able to find something there. They may also be doing shows with other big name artists. So we're stuck at home. That doesn't necessarily mean we can't have fun. Can't just be video games. We can also check out cool streams of that. So definitely check those out. I know Metallica is going to be doing something in the near future, which I'm really excited about.
Sorry to interrupt here. If there's any comedians or artists, or even like either artists of any kind, and you know their contact info, and you know that that is their main gig, see if you can donate money to their Venmo account. Because there's a lot of, like, I actually know a lot of people who do like stand-up shows, and that's their like livelihood. And
definitely.
They can't do any of that stuff. Or comic shops, if they're not open, but maybe you could buy, like I mentioned before, buy gift cards, or see if they're doing any sales online that you can just, pick up at the door from them, so they can help them keep going. Because a lot of these people, I mean, there is things in place to help us with what's going on, but not every business has an option to get money from that.
And remember, only do what you can.
Yeah. Don't blow all your money.
Yeah, if you can't donate, what you can always do is you can always share their content, which has their information on there, so that someone else might be able to do it. So any little thing that you can do to help out, pretty much contract workers, independent contract workers.
If you could give $1, like, I donated like not a lot of money to it. There's a stand-up comedian that I follow online, and I donated some money to their cause, or to them, and they were very appreciative of it. Any ease we can give these people, because I mean, all three of us are working a job. We all are covered for the most part. Nothing's.
Thank God.
I mean, there may be complaints that happen, but for the most part, I am very fortunate and very lucky to still be working.
Likewise.
Me too.
Yeah. So, and you don't have to worry about all that. But there's others who don't, and try and help. Yeah,
like you know what, you might even be able to find like a Patreon account for a lot of up and coming artists, comedians, and whatnot that come with really cool content that you would be able to get that normally other people can't. Like, I know there's a bunch of webcomics that do that as well. Have like certain comics that they don't release to the general public, or they'll get early access. So there's still ways where you can still help them out and still walk away with something as well. But again, as Randy Kings mentioned, for anything else, check out the ones that you like and see if you can help them out as best as humanly possible. Because I always end the show with the line, "In times of chaos, be kind," and there's no better time for that line to remain as relevant and be as powerful as it is right now. So
you could also
if you
add
can.
"stay safe and clean," I guess.
Yeah.
There's the time for the podcast.
Yeah, there it is.
Cool. All right.
So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. For anybody who's checking out on the YouTube channel, make sure that you guys are liking, subscribing, ringing that bell in order to get the notifications whenever we have new content up. Make sure you guys are also listening to the audio podcast on wherever you get podcasts, Spotify, iTunes.
That's where we are.
Because we are there. Just look us up, Word Vomit Podcast. For Sean Vander, Randy Kings, I am Emmanuel, a.k.a. Vitamin E-Man, the stubborn SOB, reminding everybody that during times of chaos, be kind.